So before the propagation starts, I just want to say Happy New Year, Happy 2022. We've had time off and now we're raring to go. So just want to let you know what's going on in the new year. We're going to do 1 to 2 new videos per month, doing a short every week. So be sure and check those out. What I'm mainly concentrating on is updating a lot of our old blog posts. I've been blogging since 2014. A lot of those posts need a lot of care put in, but it'll be expanded resources for you all. So be sure to go and check the website joyousgarden.com because they will republish as new posts. They will have the old video in them. Plus Brielle, Miranda, and Cassie, who all work here with me at Joyous Garden, they'll all be doing a post a month too. So you'll be able to see that. As usual, there is a blog post to go along with this video with a lot more details. It will have pictures in it, the links to materials used, so be sure and check that out. The link will be down below. Also, the link to the Philodendron Brasil care post and video I've done, so you can check that out too. Or you can just go to the website joyousgarden.com. This video was shot over 2 months just because I wanted to show you the pruning, the propagating, how the roots look, all that kind of stuff, and the care. So that is all in here. So that is why it is. You'll see me in different outfits, inside and outside. So let's get propagating. Hi, it's Nell. Today I'm going to be pruning my Philodendron Brasil and starting the propagation process. So stay tuned for that. All right, I got my glasses on so I can see. I've got my Fisker nips here and I'm all set to go for pruning. These are great for inner stems. I will leave the link in the blog post. They're also in our Amazon shop. But this plant has grown like crazy. My new kitchen is very bright. These are the trails, and I'm just about to start a kitchen remodel, or I'm not going to start it. The kitchen is going to be remodeled starting in about 5 days, so I have to get this plant out of here. So I am going to prune it and so that it is much easier to manage. And right now I'm going to show you where I'm going to prune it. Okay, up close and personal. First thing I'm going to do is get Spidey out of the way here because I need to be able to see my trails here. And the first thing I want to show you is this stem here. This one was cut right here, and this is what these plants do. It's just like a pothos or any other philodendron like this, where it'll put out, multiple stems. So I don't want to prune it down here because it's going to do that. You can do that if you want, but I don't want to have to prune it again for a while. So I'm going to prune mine about right here, and it's just below a node. This is a node here, and I'm going to cut it right there. Nice, clean cut. And I don't like them all even. I'm not crazy about the even, look. So, okay, so I'm going to cut the second one. Same thing right there. Bang. And then there's just the third one. So, and this one that has the 2 stems off of it, I'm going to cut this one up a little bit higher. There we go. So now I got them out of the way, and I can see if I want to do them. I think I want to do them up a little bit more. I'm going to do this one here. And this one, I'm going to go up 1. Okay, so those 2 aren't, so they aren't even. And this one, I'm just going to clip the new growth off of this one. There. And this one isn't bothering me right now. There's some coming down. I'm just going to leave those for now. I can deal with them in the spring. It is just about to be fall. But this gets it up off the ground, and it'll be much easier to move and work with. All right, and there's where the roots are going to come off there. And you can see those aerial roots. This is how they attach to other plants in nature, are really pretty long here. I think this is where it was actually kind of starting to grow into the spider plant. It was sort of reaching into that. So that's why these roots are so long. So these could technically be planted because the roots are already well on their way. So this is the end that, you know, if you're totally new to propagation, you know, this is the end, you know, with the new growth coming out. So you want to do this end that got cut off the growing stem. And this is a little awkward, so I'm gonna cut it right here. You could actually cut this in half and propagate it, but I've got a philodendron, you know, silver stripe too, and so I don't want any more. I've got so many plants. So I'm just gonna cut off these two lower leaves and just put the first node right in water there. And this will root. This will be ready to plant in about 2 or 3 weeks. They root pretty fast. Oops. There they are grabbing onto each other here. They're so wild. Again, I'm gonna cut this one here. Actually, I think I'll cut this one here. I know. I'm gonna have all this growth that's not gonna be propagated, but you know, this will go to somebody. I always give my cuttings to someone, and then just one more. This one is a thinner stem, so I think I'll cut it about there, and take off there and there, and that is it. You can also propagate them in a very light soil mix also, but I like the water propagation because I can see the action on the roots. And this is what the roots look like after 2 months. You know, one of the stems, the other two are pretty much the same. So that's the action. I've got my little makeshift station here. The pruning I did on September 16th. It's now November 18th. The cuttings rooted after about 2 weeks. They had some growth on them. This plant grows fast, it roots fast. And the mix that I'm using for this is the same as I would use for a plant because these roots are so vigorous. It's a rich, chunky soil. My potting soil, I'm using Happy Frog, which is Fox Farm. I use either Fox Farm or Ocean Forest. I mean Happy Frog or Ocean Forest by Fox Farm. And I have some perlite, just because the perlite bag is smaller than the pumice bag. I like to use, you know, pumice, but the perlite was easier to transport out here. And also some cocoa coir. So that is what's going in, and a combination of compost and worm compost. Okay, so here's the cocoa coir and the perlite in here with a little bit of potting soil and more potting soil and the compost. So I have it about 3/4 full. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, because I am getting a kitchen remodel. I'm happy about that, but there's a little banging inside, so. But we don't want to interrupt progress. So I fill it with this, when the roots are fairly long, I fill it about 3/4 of the way full. The nice thing about this bin is it can kind of rest on the bin while I try and get it to stand up, because they flippy flop a little bit. And get the roots down as best you can. They'll find, this plant grows so fast, and the roots will find its way, their way around. So that is basically about as deep as you want it. So I'm gonna put some of this, and here's more potting soil, just enough to get it to stand up. And then you can adjust it a little bit after you get it kind of in there. More of that, and now I'm going to do some of the compost, worm compost, and a little bit more of that. And that is basically all you do. If you want to put it down in the soil a bit more, you can do that too. But let's see how this looks, and I press it a little bit. So don't worry if the plant doesn't look fabulous. I've done this with many cuttings before. You go, but it'll grow into a beautiful plant. Or if you want it to be a little bit fuller, you can put another cutting or two in there. And now what's very important, which I always like to share, is care. Obviously the roots are very wet. I'm going to water this really thoroughly, make sure it's nice and moist because you don't want those newly rooted roots to dry out. And then I will just resume the care as usual. It's getting into winter-ish, so probably for a couple weeks or a few weeks I'll water them every week, and then I'll probably back off to every 2 weeks in the cooler months, but I'll see how it's going. But you don't want to keep them like sopping wet water every few days, but you don't want them to dry out either until those roots get nice and established. It's about 10 days after I planted the cuttings, and I just want to show you that I cut the stems back. They just looked too long and too scraggly. There is a little bit of growth coming right there, so it'll eventually fill in, but you can feel free to, if you wanted to prune it all the way back up even more, you could. I hope you get yourself a Philodendron Brasil. It's a really easy plant, grows really fast. And I have a lot more videos coming your way all about gardening, both indoors and outdoors. Now let's get into our indoor gardens and make our worlds a more beautiful place. I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes, and I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. And again, Happy New Year. Bye.